What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games, and we're going over the best settings, some tips and tricks in Pokemon Unite. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. We're so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I'm posting tons of Pokemon Unite videos. To begin, you can actually practice in Pokemon Unite, which is pretty interesting. There is a tutorial which you do some of it in the beginning when you first launch the game. However, you can continue to do the tutorial and gain more coins in the advanced tutorials. These are super easy, and 800 coins is a lot, especially when you get 4 of these done, so definitely do these so you can unlock more Pokemon as soon as possible. You can also go to the practice area and test out different Pokemon. You can set up different settings. You can always have your abilities turned on, so this is great just to learn different characters, especially if you want to test some characters out before you actually buy them. Back to the sidebar, probably the most important part of this video is our settings menu. So going down to settings, into system settings, you want to make sure your frame rate is set to high. This can be your default sometimes, however it isn't, make sure it's on high. This will make it so your frame rate is at 60 FPS, and at least try to get up to 60 FPS. I play in docked mode, so I usually don't have this problem. In portable, you may have to mess around with medium and high. However, you're playing docked, this should be totally okay with you. Now into the meat of our settings, we're going to be diving into the basic control settings here. And our first option is the opponent lock-on priority. This is more a preferential one, but my reasoning for going for lowest remaining HP value is this helps me always target the Pokemon that is actually the closest to being knocked out, instead of necessarily like a Snorlax that has a low percent HP but could actually have more HP than someone's Pikachu on their side. So this just makes it easier for me to get knockouts. If you're going to do any change in this video, I highly recommend this. This is definitely the most important. Your default is default controls. You want to switch this over to advanced controls. This makes it so that you won't target wild Pokemon accidentally while you're in the middle of a fight. Let's say you're in lane and you're attacking your opponent's Pikachu. If you're trying to hit that Pikachu but the Corphish shows up, your auto attack's gonna attack that Corphish, and then the Pikachu can knock you out. So with advanced controls on, you can actually hit the A button to only focus on your opponent's Pokemon, and the B button will hit wild Pokemon. So this is actually great in multiple situations, especially in team fights, especially in lane control situations where you want to poke at the opponent, but you also want to make sure you snipe the wild Pokemon so you can apply some pressure of A and then take the steal at the B button. So this is fantastic. This is a must-have for any Pokemon Unite player. And then we got a slew of settings down here. So automatic basic attacks I turn off, and the reason because of that is I want to have my third auto attack, and it's completely in my control. I don't want the game having control of that. So how to use the third auto attack? Well, the best way to do this is by turning on the boosted attack gauge option. With that on, you can actually see what number of auto attack you're on. So it'll be a little 2-prong gauge, and when that gauge is glowing yellow, that'll be your third auto attack. But your third auto attack is a boosted attack, which does more damage, can apply different effects depending on your character, and also does special attack damage as well. So it's very great to have that on, especially for team fights and for kiting, so you know exactly when you need to be targeting the right Pokemon. And speaking about targeting, you want to turn on the lock-on icon. So the lock-on icon will show all the Pokemon that are near you and on the other team. And when you're in a team fight, you can actually select between the Pokemon that are near you in the fight. So let's say there is a high target value you want to knock out in the team fight, but it's not necessarily the lowest HP target. So like there's a Pikachu who's completely fed. You want to target down that Pikachu first, most likely. So target down that Pikachu by using your right stick and selecting him, and then all your attacks will actually go towards that Pikachu, which is pretty great. I turned off in motion pursuit mode because the game will sometimes have you run towards enemies even if you're running the other way. So to give yourself more full control, you're going to have this setting turned off, which is pretty important. Another big one is scoring controls, because currently with the default is hold the button down. So you have to make sure you're holding the button all the way down while you're scoring, and scoring can take a long time depending on what Pokemon you're using. So I switched this over to press button, so you only have to hit it once. You don't have to worry about anything else, and this is easier for you to use your controller as well. So for the mini-map position, I left this on the default. In the move learning controls, I put this on a single button. No button, button combination is too complicated. And then camera sensitivity, I actually move this all the way to the highest level. Just because if you're looking around the map, you want to see high value targets easier, like Zapdos, let's say. But, you know, if you're running around in lane, you want to make sure you can see that Zapdos immediately and then have the camera snap right back to you. So you want to make sure that this is as fast as possible for the camera. And I also make the mini-map as big as possible, just because the mini-map has all the important information that's going on, where the enemies are, where creeps are, where Zapdos like Dreadnought and Rotom are, where people are scoring. So this is very important to have. So you definitely want to keep this up at max all the time. And aim assist I turn off, just because aim assist will not help you for the most part. Like, yeah, it could be good when you're starting to learn the game, but when you get further into the game, especially in ranked, you want full control of what you're actually doing. So with aim assist off, you'll actually have full control, and you have full control of your movement as well. Back on the main menu, there's actually tons of information that they don't show you, like where are your dailies. So to get your dailies, you want to go to your events, and then you want to hit 14-day welcome gifts if you're starting to play this in the beginning. This won't actually ping for you, so you definitely have to manually check this. Same with your daily missions. You'll have to manually check this as well. There's also missions for all the other maps, so the main ranked map, but also for the quick play maps as well. So you can see how long these events are going to last, what you need to do to unlock these items. And I highly recommend farming these, because you definitely want as many coins to get as many Pokemon as you can, and tickets so you can get as many item level ups as possible. Speaking of items, you want to definitely upgrade your items and check on your active items as well. To do this, you'll go to your settings and then go to battle prep and then go to held items. So you can actually give your Pokemon preemptively before the match the items that you want them to hold. So you can give them their items by going to give items, and then you can change the Pokemon by hitting X. And you can see all the Pokemon here listed, and you can give them items. So currently my Slowbro got Rocky Helmet, Salt Vest, and Shell Bell. And from here you can actually upgrade the items as well. So if I wanted to remove it, I hit swap. Upgrade is easy, just hit upgrade, and then I'll require tickets to upgrade. The higher level the item, the more tickets will take, but it's pretty easy to get each item to level 10, or at least a select few of items to level 10 that you want to use. I highly recommend doing a couple like Rocky Helmet, Assault Vest, Shell Bell, Wise Glasses, Float Stone, you know, and Scope Lens. Those are a bunch of good items that you can use on a couple of fantastic Pokemon in the meta right now. And not every item is necessarily needed. As you can see on the full item list, you can see where I have upgraded them. And yeah, pretty great. Also, speaking of items, you have your battle items. And this is actually tied to your trainer level when you'll get your battle items. So at the main menu, you want to hit the R button, and you can see the different battle items that have unlocked. And the most important one is level 11. You definitely want to make sure at level 11, you go to your trainer level and you collect these items. Because at level 11, you get eject button, which honestly is the best held item or active item in the game. This lets you flash and escape enemies. It's pretty much useful on every character. Probably the second best would be Fluffy Tail, which I recommend using on every single jungler if you happen to be the mid laner going into the jungle. Another thing the game doesn't tell you is who's a physical attacker and who's a special attacker. So please look at this list and feel free to screenshot this and use this for your own convenience. So to make a note, all basic attacks are physical. However, the third attack could be a special move. So for these Pokemon, I've listed them as special attackers, and these are the Pokemon that all their other special moves are also special attacking moves. So like a Alolan Ninetales, you would want to have like a Wise Glasses on them, but you wouldn't want to use that for a Talonflame. For a Talonflame, you would probably want to use something like a Muscle Band as an example. Another fun thing is when you go to Unite Battle, you can actually invite your friends in this lobby system. However, if you want to go back to the lobby while you have friends in your party, you can just hit the R stick and you can return back to the lobby by hitting the R stick again. So you don't need to disband your lobby just to collect more items and things like that. So one of the most important things while you're choosing a Pokemon on the map is you want to hit ZL for battle prep. And this is where you can actually select your battle items and your held items, which is pretty great because if you already had these preset, they'll just be here as well. And you can even preset which moves will automatically take over if you would like to do that. The most important one is selecting battle path, and then you can select which lane you want to go to. So I'm going to select top lane because I'm playing as Pikachu. So now all my teammates will know where I'm going, and this is really great for early game communication. So people don't steal each other's creeps in lane, so people actually can go to jungle, or people won't go to jungle. It's a whole thing. So this is honestly, a lot of wins can happen just from the game lobby, because I have noticed time and time again that people have lost from having 3 people go to bot lane and no one has gone to jungle. And it's just an unfortunate situation to be in. Now for some general gameplay tips. So while you're heading to your lane with your partner, you want to make sure you clear out the A-Pumps in your lane. This will give you enough EXP to hit level 3 by the time you hit lane. And when you're in lane, either top or bottom, you want to contest the middle creep. So in top, you have a Corphish on the bottom, and at bottom lane, you have an Aldino towards the top of the lane. If you can contest that creep and win it, you'll get a huge level advantage. And one level matters so much when the difference is between level 3 and 4 is your next Pokemon move. You always want to be paying attention to your mini-map. You never know when another enemy is going to come out of lane and gank you from the bush. This is very important just to see where enemies are, to see how many points your teammates have, and to see whether Zapdos, Dreadnought, or Rotom are up. The timers for Rotom and Dreadnought are at the 7-minute mark, and then Zapdos appears at the last 2-minute mark. If you defeat Rotom, it will give you 20 points and it'll push your lane for you. Rotom will try to hit the goal, and if it hits the goal, it'll give you insta scoring for 15 seconds. This means you can just run up and hit your button and don't have to wait for a charge to score, which is pretty great. Dreadnought is even more important than Rotom because it actually gives your entire team EXP for defeating it, and it gives your whole team a spell shield. So that's a huge buff, and that EXP pretty much usually equates to 1 full level. So this is a great catch-up mechanic for your team, but also another tool to get way ahead of the other team. And last but certainly not least, the most important creep in the game is Zapdos, which appears at the 2-minute mark. In the last 2 minutes of the game, you can score double points. So if you're holding 50 balls, you can actually turn that into 100, and that clears out a majority of the bases in the game. And Zapdos gives instant scoring for about 30 seconds on these goals. So this is a great ultimate comeback factor for any team, or to easily secure a win if you're already ahead. And honestly, Zapdos is one of those markers where you need to group up at the 2-minute mark at Zapdos and prepare for a team fight, because whoever gets it will honestly win the game. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to the channel and thumbs up the video. And I'll catch you guys next time with more Pokemon Unite action. Peace out.